Hi everyone, hope you're all well. This is mechanic here, Trace Thompson Racing. Like I said the other day, we were going to have a look at doing a video on lowering your Mini. Obviously we've lowered ours quite substantially already, but we're going to be lowering it again. Slight problem with ours, we run the Mini Spares Competition rubber donuts, which are a bit more substantial than the Rover type, so you tend to get a jacked up ride height with them. With the high-lows, as far down as we could get the high-lows wasn't low enough, so what we had to do, we had to get 10mm machined off the actual aluminium high-low to accommodate our ride height. Now we're pretty much bottomed out where we are now, and we're a little bit high, not much, just a little bit, so we're wanting to drop 5mm. Obviously this will affect our camber, it'll affect our toe, but we are going to do a few alterations on that. I'm going to do another video showing us how we set our car up and what figures we use. Anyway, we'll get this car jacked up, we'll get some stands on it, and we'll get into it. We'll put this on a stand and be right back. Okay, so we've got both sides jacked up, the wheels are cracked off, we've got axle stands both sides, so we're not going to have no jack fails. So, whip the wheels off. That's, I don't know, a nice part one, I suppose. Parts of it are quite worn, so yeah, make a great part one, I reckon. If anyone's in the market for a part one Yokohama tyre, well, I could possibly wipe some more of it out of the rim for you if you want it. Anyway, it's there if anyone's mad enough to want it. I don't think we'll run with it again. I don't think it's quite as a performance. So anyway, we've pulled this side off. Let's have a look in there. So, as stated in the last video, and I didn't really notice it myself until I looked at the video, this bump stop here has not been doing its job. One, it's perished and the rubber's shot. Two, it's twisted around, so it's not stopping the bottom arm, and that's caused a problem where our donut had come out of the locating ring in the subframe, giving us a jacked up ride height, throwing all our suspension out of geometry. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to pull this shock absorber off, and that should give us enough droop to remove the cone. If you're on a standard road car using the standard aluminium cones, you would want a cone compressor, or as I've done myself, a hammer. I wouldn't recommend the hammer way though. Also, we need to get a steering gear just for the rack. Got a big split in that one. I don't want to end up having to place a rack just so I can place a boot. Anyway, let's get this shock absorber pulled off. So, pull the shock absorber off. We'll need a 9/16 or a 14mm. And do this bottom bolt here. Hopefully this won't spin, it probably will. And I'll have to put something on the back so it's spinning, spanner, another socket. Up at the top, and remove this one. Right, a few quickies. When you're lowering your car, you might want to think about fitting shock absorbers to suit a lowered car, because your standard shocks, if you lower it too much, you're just going to kill your shocks. They're just going to bottom out and they're not going to work. So if you're lowering your car, remember, take into account shock absorbers. Also the top mounting is in a slightly different position when you lower it. We use these mini spares bracket just to change the top mounting position of the shock absorber. And that'll give you a better line up, so that's also something you want to keep in mind if you're lowering your Mini. Also bump stops, so if you're lowering your Mini you're going to want to make sure you're not crashing into anything, so obviously run a bump stop. Then you've got your suspension to consider. Your car isn't going to handle great when you lower it if you haven't lined it back up. So when you lower it you're going to get more negative camber on your front wheels, which is a good thing. You're also going to affect your caster, which can be a good thing. So if you're getting more neg, you must have lengthened this bottom arm here by lowering, and then you've affected this one because you've actually lengthened it. So we've got that the right way around there. So you've knocked your caster back. You want your caster, it not only straightens your wheels up, but when you're cornering and you turn your wheel without a good amount of caster, your wheel will go from being in negative camber to positive camber. So we wind a lot of caster on, so when we turn into the corner our wheel stays in that negative camber position where we want it, as opposed to going into the positive. Obviously ours didn't do that the weekend, it just wasn't where it wanted, hence we destroyed these tyres. Right, so I've opened the toolbox, see what we've got in there. I've just dragged the travel toolbox out of the van. It's not the tightest fit in the world, it's 14mm. Not the greatest thing to do one-handed either. So don't lose some fingers. There we go. The top one's coming very nice. Spin the rest off my fingers. Might as well shove them in the toolbox. Right, we'll spin the bottom one off. Fingers crossed it doesn't slip. Here we go. Don't worry, it was just my arm, I haven't damaged the car. Okay, that's top and bottom off. I'll give the shocker a bit of persuasion to move it. Grab one in the box, see what I'm going to stand the camera on for a moment. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't use a hammer really, not on your shock absorbers. So if you've got a rubber mallet, fine. If not, carefully with your hand. Okay, now we have the shock absorber off. You can see we run the gas shock absorbers, the dual point, so we can adjust bump and rebound. Make a huge difference in circuit racing anyway. These are absolutely perfect compared to the standard gas shockers that they run in the Mighty Standard class. When we run these on the supers, we found we're worth about half a second, 3/4 a lap, which obviously over a race is it's a lot of time. So yeah, brilliant shock absorbers. Right. So next we're going to get this cone out and see how much room we've freed up. Oh, tell you what, we might as well get rid of this bottom rubber, because probably should have done all that. It's stubby hopefully. Yeah. We'll get this rubber out of the way, and that'll give us that extra little bit of movement so we can pull the cone out. Like I say, with high-lows it's something you can do, but you can't do with the standard cones because you need to actually compress the rubber with the standards. Even when the rubbers have compressed themselves that much that you want to change them, still some won't let you just take them out. We'll put that screw somewhere safe. I'm going to get some new ones obviously. I think they come with the screws, but you know, you never know. I'll just put the camera down here. I'll lift this brake assembly up, which will lift the arm, and let me pull this little rubber out. So this is a little bump stop. It was causing all the trouble. Now it's got, you know, a bit of crush left in it, but obviously the rubber is emaciated, but the fact it had actually twisted, it just wasn't stopping this bottom arm here from dropping. Then we were left with the rubber cone moving from the locator ring and giving us a bit more extra clearance, and that's something we didn't need because, like I said, that put everything out, destroyed our tyre. So let's have a look at pulling this cone, see whether it's going to be nice and straightforward or whether it's going to be awkward. Okay, so after a bit of wangling, we've got the cone almost out. The rubber bungs the rubber donuts trying to come with it. Yeah. So we'll just see if we can catch that. There we go. So that's what we run. Rip speed high-low. See, we've shaved quite a bit off here, this machine, so we can get it to drop down further. Now all I want to take it out for a check, I just want to check that we're going to clear this threaded area here and it's not going to compress and cause us any problems. We have a fuel mil lower on this, and we've got enough on this cone, we don't need to cut any more off it, thankfully. It would have come off this bolt here, I would have just shaved it off the bolt just to give me that bit more travel, but I don't need to. Well, I say, if you run the mini spares, competition rubber donuts on the front and the back as well, you're going to want to consider this, that these high-lows will want chopping, and also this bar, which runs straight through the middle, will want cutting down as well to avoid it contacting with your suspension and everything locking out. Mini spares rubber donuts are well worth it. Like, at least you get some sort of a spring rating with them. Like most of the Rover ones on the front are crushed totally, whereas these, they still retain, you still get a good spring rating. So the only downfall is the amount of ride height you get, so it's getting over that ride height. Now we just want to check this ring hasn't got damaged. If that ring hasn't got damaged, then we're good to go. You can see it's obviously been chattering about up there. I think these are the red dot, as far as I remember. The dot's probably nowhere in sight now. Anyway, so the rubber donut looks fine, so I'll put that back into place. This suspension cone, fine, put that back into place. What I've done, I've wound it down as far as it can go to get it out, so when it goes back in, now that I've checked everything's alright, I'll leave it there, I won't adjust it, and then I'll move to the other side and I'll do the same on the other side, give it a check, take the rubber bung out. So we're going to put the rubber bung, great technical term, the top arm bump stop. I will remove the top arm bump stop. So we're going to order some more top arm bump stops obviously, but it doesn't stop us from lowering the car. So I'll do the same on the other side, whip the cone out, lower it down as far as it'll go, and then we're going to do a setup video, just showing how we set our car up, because obviously we run rose jointed adjustable tie bars and rose jointed adjustable bottom arms. So we have camber and caster which we can adjust, and obviously toe. So obviously as soon as you adjust one thing, you've got another two other variables to take into account. So if you adjust the camber, it's going to knock your toe out and it's going to knock your caster out. So it's a bit of work in through it, but obviously, you know, to get the car working and performing right, that's what we have to do. Right, so we'll get assembling this, get it back together and move on to the other side. Took some getting in there. Some damage on top of the subframe. Can't see it there. Just get my hand in, feel around, see if it's sat in the ring. Yeah, and on our corners you can see we have a bit of thread sticking out the top, so we're just going to run a grinder over that just to take the top off. Obviously careful not to damage any of the surrounding aluminium. We just want to hit this centre piece here, just so we know that when that rubber donut's sitting on top, that isn't going to crash into it. So we'll get the grinder on. Don't forget, proper eye protection, proper guards on tools. Lovely, so that's that sorted. So I'll get this hoy back in. Might as well put you back on the stand for that. Probably speed the footage up so I don't see there's much point in watching me wangle this around. So I'm just going to wangle it back in the way we got it out. Let's say, could use a cone compressor. We could also drop this bottom arm, could also drop this ball joint, might give us a bit more movement, but it's right on there, so it'll should just pop in with a bit of wangling. Right, I'll get on with it and stop waffling. Okay, that's the cone back in. As you can see, it's going to want the slack taken up, and I want to make sure that we have this rubber donut located in the ring up here so it sits where it's supposed to sit. So all it's left to do on this side, shock absorber back on, wheel on, let the car down, that's that side done. So we'll repeat it on the other side. No different to this side really. Right, so let's put this shock absorber back on. Obviously we'll have to take the weight of the brake disc and the caliper and the rest of the suspension. We'll go to the top one, see whereabouts we are, how far we've got to lift on. Don't put it right the way on, and you won't get the bottom one on. There we go. Nice and simple. Going with a 14mm again, should be a 9/16 really, but neither damn it. Put one in. And the top one. Right, okay. So that's this side done. So what we've basically done, we've checked this high-low cone out, we've dropped it to its lowest possible. It was using the mini spare rubber cones, as I mentioned. These will bump the ride height of your car, make an amazing difference in the ride, but you will have to get over it with adjusting your suspension. So your load shock absorber, if you're lowering your car, any reasonable amount, you know, you're going to want to look at fitting load shock absorbers as well. It doesn't really matter what manufacturer they are, depending on what you're doing. We run these because we have to run them in our championship. Everyone who runs in the supers runs these shocks. So great shock absorbers, and these are load obviously, so we can lower our cars without damaging the shock absorbers and affecting our handling. The new things to remember, your suspension geometry. So you will knock your tracking out, you will knock your camber out, and you will knock your caster out. So remember that when you're lowering your car, there's other considerations you want to make. Obviously if you're drastically low on it, and then you're heading into looking out for brake pipe clearance and other clearances, obviously your bump stop clearances, we cut our bump stops down to suit the ride that we run in the car. And apart from that, that's it really, if you want to keep it as basic as we can. So we'll click run through the other side. Like I say, we'll do a video in a few days. Well, we might do it tomorrow, but by the time we get it out, God knows what day it'll be. Just showing how we set the front end up, so we'll get the tracking gear out. We were going to level the floor in here because the floor's not ideal for setting a car up, because you want it perfectly level really. So what we're going to do instead, we have turn plates which a car sits on under all four wheels, and it's quite a thick steel plate with a plate on top of it which allows the wheels to move while we're adjusting them. So I'm going to drill 4 holes into these plates and put a nut and bolt combination through and use that nut and bolt so I can adjust the height of the plates, so and then I can level the plates and then put the car on much the same as you would scales. And that should get us over the setting up. So we'll do the setting up video next. I'll plod on with the other side. I don't think there's any point showing you the other side, it's just a carbon copy of this side. Any questions or anything, just give us an ask. Right, I'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoy yourselves whatever you're up to. Bye. I wasn't going to leave you without showing you how far we've loaded the car. Let's have a nose. So it's a one finger job in there now. Obviously it will settle a little bit. We're down at 18 centimetres from the sill to the floor. And over on the other side, we're a little bit lower on this side. Down around the 17 area, you know, you can't even get a finger in between there. So what we'll be doing, we'll be doing our corner weights because we're as far down height wise as we can go. So we'll do our corner weights and hopefully we should be just moving up and we don't have to touch the rears, hopefully. Right, this time that's it. See you guys later. Bye.